All right, let's see if we got this working right. Okay, we check YouTube. I'm still getting used to it. Search YouTube on my phone. Apodemus. That's me. Live. Okay, I think we're good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Resident Evil 4 Remake. Separate Ways. It's been a while since I played this, and I wanted to finish Separate Ways because Resident Evil 4 Remake is so incredibly good. Um, you know, I wanted to get back into it, and I remembered, of course, that for the RE4 remake, we did some tier list stuff where we covered a bunch of horror movies. We did the what is it? The 500 Ultimate. Is it this one? No, this one. Yeah. So we did this. Let me see if there's any. Have there been any changes since last we spoke? I don't think so. I have watched a bunch of horror movies since we last did one of these. Obsession came out, and I watched that. Um, I finally saw Long Legs. I did see Ready or Not. So I guess that could be bumped up. I rather liked this one. Um, I'm trying to remember what else. What else have I seen? Um, One second. I'm just gonna check my. I'm gonna check my media server real quick. Um, to see what do we got in here. Movies. Oh, it's alphabetical. That's not useful to me. Sort by creation time. Let's see. Sorry, boring beginning to the video. I saw Hokum. Yeah, Hokum was pretty good. I didn't love it, but I thought it was quite good. Um, that might be it in terms of some like major things. But I mean, I've watched a bunch of other movies that aren't horror. But anyway, um, I thought before we dove back into the RE4 remake, I saw another YouTuber, Laura Loves Horror, made a disturbing horror movie tier list, and it's not like super complete or super exhaustive or anything, but I thought this could be kind of like an interesting one because, pardon me, I thought it would be an interesting one to cover. I did actually. One of the things that I rewatched, and a lot of people would be like, "Why would you rewatch that?" Was the Human Centipede trilogy. I watched the whole thing, rewatched the whole thing probably about a month ago, um, and I don't really want to like defend those movies per se, but like I don't think they're nearly as bad as people say they are. I think there's something like they're like a little more interesting, I guess I should say, than people necessarily give them credit for. This was apparently this list perhaps was spurred by Obsession coming out. Um, so these were her four categories. I think I kind of want to. I want to add a couple at the bottom. I'm going to add a white category called haven't seen, want to. Add a row below. And then haven't seen, don't want to, or maybe let's say no thanks. Add a row below. There we go. Something like that. Did I do it right? I didn't do it right. Okay. This is, oh, okay. I get how it did it. Sorry everybody. I don't do like tier list stuff that often. I think that she called this just horror. Just horror. Haven't seen, want to. Haven't seen. Sorry if you get a bunch of ambient audio, by the way. It's a beautiful summer day, and I have my windows open. So, yeah, you're just going to get the sounds of my neighborhood, which is going to be potentially a little bit loud, but, hopefully it's not too disruptive. Um, I do like her categories. I think they're like kind of clever to have just horror, disturbing elements, unsettling, need time to process, brutal, rotten to the core. I am gonna switch it up though, and I'm gonna talk to you why or like what I intend for this to be as I switch it up. Which I think I'm going to do is um I'm gonna kind of do something that's kind of like a variant upon uh what I did for my like quality list. We're gonna do brutal good, come on, brutal bad, rough bad, rough good, easy good, easy bad. So the point of this is that I'm going to try to also can I center the text? I don't really know. Anyway, I'm gonna do this by saying that like how brutal something isn't necessarily a reflection of how good it is. I think that we'll do cool colors for the bad movies and then warm colors for the good movies. So let's do blues and then we'll do a purple. Okay, I like that more. To basically be like, okay, some of these are incredibly intense, but also like some of them are brutal but good. And then there are some that are brutal but bad. And I think that that is worth kind of like distinguishing. Just because I think her section or her divisions were quite lovely, but I think that it's like worth acknowledging the difference between like, yes, this is like incredibly hard to watch, but also like worth your time, as opposed to like this is incredibly brutal but like not worth your time. So let's get into it, and I'm going to start with Obsession, which is we'll just go in her order. And again, this isn't an exhaustive list, but we'll probably spend about an hour on this and then go into Resident Evil 4. But Obsession, new big hit in the theaters, directed by Curry Barker, YouTuber, made on a budget of 700,000, has now made like 400 million at the box office or something like bonkers like that. I thought it was really, really good. I really liked Obsession. I liked it when I left the theater, and the more I've thought about it, I like it more. And like when I left the theater, I thought to myself, like, okay, that was good. I don't know if I'm gonna like prioritize watching it again. Like I don't know if I'm gonna like buy the Blu-ray or anything, in a way that like when I saw Weapons, I knew I wanted to get like see Weapons again and wanted to get the Blu-ray and everything. But like Obsession, I was like, okay, this is really good. I'm happy I saw it, but I don't know if I care to see it again. But like I think I'm probably gonna buy the Obsession Blu-ray when it launches. Obsession I thought was pretty great. I think it's rough, but I don't think it's brutal for the most part. I think it's a little bit harder and a little bit grosser than a lot of horror movies, and I think it's conceptually it's more disturbing than it is viscerally violent for the most part. There's like one or two really violent sequences that kind of like spark the film in a way that is like different. I think the thing that makes it rough is, besides like the like kind of emotional content is really difficult, because it is like a movie very much about like mental health and like toxic relationships and like toxic masculinity. So like all of that is like conceptually quite difficult, but it is also tough because there's some like body fluid stuff that's gonna like turn people off. Like it's like a pretty gross movie, without like wanting to get into spoilers. Like it's like it's not just like bloody. There is like it is like a nasty movie in the way that it like handles its physicality in a way that I think is important to the plot, but yeah, is not easy to watch. I really liked Obsession, though. I would say it's rough, but it's good. It's worth watching, definitely. Next up, we've got Guinea Pig 2. I've never seen the Guinea Pig movies, actually. The reason that this is on here, I'm sure, is that, like, the big kind of, like, pop culture story about Guinea Pig 2 is that Charlie Sheen, like the actor Charlie Sheen, saw a VHS copy of this movie while he was on drugs. And he was like so disturbed by it that he like thought it was real, and he contacted the FBI, and it led to this like it led to like an FBI inquiry being opened about it, and like questioning if it was like passing around like a film depicting like real torture. And that is kind of what it is. I mean, like, not literally, like it's all fake, it's all like an exhibition of like incredible practical effects, but like the movie, as I understand it, it's basically plotless and is largely just like an exposition of like incredible practical effects. I have never seen it. I've never seen any of the Guinea Pig movies. I kind of want to see them. I don't think that they're going to be good movies per se, but like I kind of am interested in understanding like what is the extremity of the practical effects that goes into it, particularly because they're like, I think they're kind of low budget, and I think they're kind of early into the history of practical effects in a way that is interesting enough to me, because I think it's an 80s or 90s movie. But I'm kind of interested to see and know what all the hubbub is about. And they're like kind of an important enough part about pop cultural history that I feel like I, like, as a fan of horror, owe it to myself to see. So we're gonna have it in haven't seen, want to. Audition, classic Takeshi Miike film, sort of a thriller drama more than a horror movie, but often gets in horror movie lists. I think it's going to be somewhere between easy good and rough good. And I should say that like being higher or lower on the scale doesn't mean it's a more good or more bad movie. I think the point of this tier list is more going to be to like place it in like how intense is it, and is it good or is it bad, is ultimately like it's just going to be a binary. So like Audition might be a better movie than Obsession, but you know, it might be more easy to stomach. I'm actually going to put it probably in the rough section. It's I actually think it's kind of maybe similar to Obsession insofar as that it's like a lot of the movie isn't particularly violent, or like it's not like saturated with violence in the way that some other movies in this list are, but it is I think it's like quite a good movie, and it's like punctuated with a few scenes of strong violence, or like strong, I guess I should say, like horror that is difficult, that it belongs in the rough section, not the easy section. It's a tough one. It's good. It's a good movie, though. I would say it's definitely worth seeing. And it's like, maybe I should do the left-right ranking on like how good things are, for within any given section. Interior or Interiors is a new French extremity film. New French extremity is like a tough genre for me. I'm not like the biggest fan of it. I like respect it, but I think that there's like better, I don't know, like there's like better French movies, and there's also better horror movies, and I don't necessarily think, like, I respect it in a lot of senses, but Interiors is, I think, probably in the brutal section. I'm not like a huge fan of it, but I also don't really hate it. I would say that like if you're nervous at all about like body stuff, it's very feminist body horror in a way. I guess I don't know how feminist I would actually say the movie is. That's kind of like, that's its whole own debate. I mean, I guess this is true of like a whole bunch of like, there's a lot of feminist horror movies that are like really brutal and really difficult in the way that like I think a lot of tastes would reject them. That's like, I guess, up for individual opinions. I'll move on. I don't really have much to say about it. I would say like if you're like, if you find like like the gross anatomy or like the specific anatomy of like pregnancy to be like terrifying, then like it'll be like a particularly brutal film to watch. May. May is I would say personally easy. It's like emotionally kind of a difficult film. I don't think it's like a particularly like gross or disturbing film personally. It's got a couple of spots, and it's like it's tough to watch because like a lot of it is kind of like cringe, not in like a mean way, but it's like it's hard to watch because it is about this like woman who has difficulty connecting with people, and like her kind of going down this path of sort of becoming a villain in the process of her first seeking normalcy and then ultimately kind of like rejecting it as she like takes control of her life in a way that is ultimately like maladaptive, I guess you could say. Like she becomes like um a baddie in the process, like a bad person, not a baddie like a hot woman. Like I guess that's up for personal opinion, but like she becomes like her ultimate solution to kind of like her social exclusion is to like um yeah, become like a serial killer kind of. um I think it's an interesting film. It's a good movie. It falls into a category I think we might have talked about in the 500 list, that like the 2000s were kind of like a bad time for horror, and I feel like people were really really scraping for anything good, and because of that, like there obviously were genuinely good movies in that period. Like everyone loves 28 Days Later, deservedly. Everyone loves The Descent, deservedly. But there were a few movies that I think, in retrospect, were good but not great, that kind of got uplifted into being considered great movies because there were like our options were so thin at the time that we were like scraping for the best possible options available to us. And I think that certain movies like Session 9 is one of these. May, I do think, is one of these. Outpost, I think, is one of these. These are good movies, but I think that like the degree to which they got uplifted and called like great horror movies is like contextual to the fact that they came out in like a relatively weak horror landscape. And I think that like if May didn't exist and it came out like now in 2026, like 2026 has been an unbelievably good year for horror. Like in general, like the past 15 years have been great for horror. But I feel like if this came out in 2026, I don't think people would be talking about it as being like a classic. Um, the Taking of Deborah Logan, I don't know anything about. I guess I'll put it under want to. I don't know anything about it, but yeah, I don't know. Pretty good poster. Martyrs. Oh, speaking of Session 9, here it is. Martyrs, another new French extremity film. Extremely disturbing, extremely violent, rough film. I like it more than Interiors. Um, Martyrs is it's a tough one. It's got a lot of like imagery around self-harm, extremely grotesque, extremely violent. I do actually think it's quite a good movie. Um, it's rough though. It's going to be hard to watch, but like be aware that I think it's like good, but it is absolutely high on the like brutal scale. Like it's pretty up there in terms of like level of brutality. So it's a good one though. If you want to see what new French extremity is about, I would take Martyrs over almost any other new French extremity film. Um, Terrifiers, they're out of order for some reason. We also only have Terrifier 1, Terrifier 2. We don't have Terrifier 3. We don't have All Hallows Eve. The Terrifier films are a tough one for me. I think we talked about them a little bit. I can't remember if we talked about them in the 500 list or not, but they've gotten this extra layer of complication recently that there's, as I'm recording this, and I don't think the story had broken as of me recording the 500 list. Um, they're undergoing some lawsuits, and like a woman involved in the first Terrifier movie in particular, um, there was like sexual harassment issues apparently, and also she agreed to appear nude in the film but she did not agree to be nude for like promotional materials or DVD special features or stuff like that, like stuff outside the actual text of the film itself. Um, and she says that like that was like in violation of her contract. And there's a bunch of other stuff. Like a bunch of other people have come forward with like I think there were workplace safety issues. I think there were like issues with people being compensated properly. It seems like some of the Terrifier empire is kind of like starting to unravel, which is, really too bad because like Art the Clown is like like one of the new kind of like iconic horror mascots, like one of the only ones who has really like stuck with people in recent years. So it's kind of like a bummer that this is coming to play in the way that it is, and kind of like sours the legacy of the films, especially because like there had already been a lot of discourse about like are the Terrifier films misogynist, was like already this kind of like concern that people had because like violence occurs to all kinds of people in these movies. Like there's also men who get tortured and whatever, but it's like there seems to be like a particular fixation and like mean spiritedness in the way in which it treats its women characters. And I feel that like this thing of this like mistreatment of this woman feels like it particularly sours the like subtext of these films, or like it sours how we can like engage with the text in a way that is difficult for me to kind of like come around to. First Terrifier isn't a particularly good movie. I will put it on the low end of brutal. I don't think it's as bad as it maybe is reputed for. Terrifier 2 I think is like particularly difficult to watch. I think it's like the refinement of the special effects was like pretty up there. And I guess I might, do I want to put it under bad, maybe because of the soured legacy. We haven't used the bad end of the scale yet, so let's throw them down there just for now because of the like unfolding of the situation that we've discussed. Terrifier 2, I think I if circumstances weren't playing out the way that they were with all this lawsuit stuff that's coming forward, I would maybe be inclined to put it under brutal good rather than brutal bad. Terrifier 1 maybe would be in brutal bad anyway, because as I said, it's like not a particularly good movie. Terrifier 2 is like a little bit more interesting. There's a little bit more world building and story. It does also have like a female protagonist who like doesn't really get like tortured, or like she like has to fight, but she's not like brutalized in the way that like a horror movie torture victim is brutalized. Like she has to go through like trials where she has like violence inflicted upon her in the way that like a lot of horror movie protagonists do, but she's not like a torture victim. Sienna is the character's name, and I think her story is actually kind of interesting. I think she's well acted. But yeah, it's like tough to kind of like rectify the fact that she is kind of like an archetypical like final girl heroine in conjunction with the kind of stuff that's been coming out about the backgrounds of these films. So I guess like also to summarize the point about this idea that like they're kind of like mean spirited about the female characters, like one thing that comes to mind for me from Terrifier 2 that I'll also say before we like move on, because I've been on these too long, is that like there's one particularly extremely lengthy violent kill in the middle of Terrifier 2. It's like the longest and most like technically impressive of the kills in that movie, and I like it's like an incredible showcase for special effects, and like it's kind of like incredibly impressive. And if you like care about and like special effects, it's like it is like one of the great showcases of gore effects that I've ever seen in film. But like to speak to the idea of it being like mean spirited, it's like almost cartoonish in the way that it's mean spirited. That like at one point during this kill, he literally like pours salt on her wounds. Like it's like this incredibly grotesque, horrible thing where he's like really like doing all of these like stuff with blades and breaking bones and whatever, and then like the fact that he like takes time to be like, oh yeah, I need to like make this extra painful by literally rubbing salt in the wounds is like mean spirited to a point where it almost becomes kind of silly, and that's kind of like the essence of Terrifier 2 maybe. Session 9 is a good movie that I think we talked about a little bit in the 500 horror. Again, I think it's a movie that its reputation is overinflated because of its like when it came out. And I do think it's a good movie. I think it's kind of on the low end of good. It's very low budget. It's not very well acted. It's very poorly edited. Has very bad sound design. But when you get some of the like atmospheric kind of like probing environmental shots, they're really quite impressive, and it like so totally could be a great movie. It's like a great movie made by untalented people or something. I don't know. That's like a really weird way to put it, but like that's maybe where I land. Or like not the most talented filmmakers like reached too high with their ambitions, and that's like more admirable than them just failing, but like it's on the low end of good. I also don't think it's really disturbing at all personally. Like it takes place in a mental asylum and it's like spooky and whatever, and but like I don't think it's like disturbing in the way that like some of the other things are like viscerally and conceptually disturbing. American Psycho I also don't personally think is that like that disturbing. It's probably on the higher end in terms of quality, but I don't think it's like it's conceptually disturbing. There's a lot of violence in it, but it's also like I think it's like pretty watchable as a movie. Like I think it's like quite funny in places, and it's like grotesque and violent in its own way too, but it is also like funny and cartoonish and amazingly well acted, well performed. Um Speaking of like how feminist is something versus not feminist in its statement making, directed by a woman, written and directed by a woman. Obviously, it's written by Bret Easton Ellis, and like the original novel was called out by, I think it's Andrea Dworkin, like one of the second wave feminists, like called out the novel for being so horrific, and I believe it's Andrea Dworkin because I believe that she is Christian Bale's godmother, and it's like this weird funny net that like she called out the book for being this thing, and then he ended up acting in it, but he's acting in it in like an almost like feminist tinged kind of dissection of like male like toxic masculinity of the Reagan era being played out in this like almost feminist parable by a female director. um but it's a good movie. It's a good movie. I don't think it's particularly hard to watch. It's not like easy to watch in the way that like it's not comfy. It's like it's a violent movie, but it's not like I personally don't think it's like disturbing. Like it's a you know a difficult movie in some regards, but I don't think it's like a disturbing movie. Bone Tomahawk, I think we talked about a little bit in 500. I think it's actually kind of a bad movie. It's rough. There's like one particular sequence of violence. Scaredy Cats, which is a great horror video essay channel, has like a longer takedown of Bone Tomahawk that I highly recommend watching. I don't want to get into it here. I would say it's like rough, particularly for one sequence, but it's I don't think it's a particularly good film. So it's going in the bad section, and I would say it's more in the rough than in the brutal area. Infinity Pool I haven't seen yet. It's by Cronenberg's son. I do want to see it. It's probably higher on my list of things I want to see. So we'll put that up at the top of haven't seen, want to. Substance. So this is what I was kind of thinking of when I brought up earlier about like with interiors, this idea of like feminist statement films. Like it's just as capable to kind of like read them negatively as positive in many regards. I don't think it's brutal. I would say honestly it might even be easy. It's somewhere between easy and rough. I think it's maybe on the easy side. I don't know. I'd probably place it lower than American Psycho, but it's kind of on the easy side. Really good like body horror movie about projections of like beauty standards and expectations for women, especially in Hollywood. I think the thing that like makes it tough, and the reason why I would say it kind of exists in the same this like sort of strange place of I do think it's a feminist film. It's again like a woman director who also wrote the screenplay, um, and I think it's a very smart movie. The thing that kind of like it really toes the line on and is difficult to rationalize with it is it is about the horrors of aging in a sense, and like the way in which women are like ostracized for aging and getting older, and like the horror of like seeing your body change. And I think that's like a very natural thing to kind of like fear and like have a difficult response to, both in terms of like the personal kind of lived experience of it, and also the kind of like the social projections that play out as a result of pressure being put upon you, is something that the film is very critical of. And I think that that's like is quite feminist as a statement. The thing that's difficult about it is that there are a few sequences where it does also kind of like depict old women as being like horrifying unto themselves, in a way that I think other movies are worse about, like the movie X, which is like the Ty West film, like A24 trilogy with Mia Goth. I think that movie is much, much worse about it. Like it's both critical of like the treatment of women as they age, but also like treats an old woman as being like a monster in and of herself. The Substance kind of starts towing that line, but I think it has like enough other content that is counterfactual to that claim that like I do think it is a feminist movie. But like I know there's going to be people who like people have taken issue with it in places, but I do think it's quite a good movie. I don't think it's that difficult. There's like a couple tough sequences, but I don't think it's I wouldn't put it on the same level as Audition or Obsession. Though I do think it's like a harder movie to watch than May or Session 9. I actually think it's a harder movie to watch than American Psycho. Like if we had 4 layers here instead of 3, it would be a layer up from them. The Sadness I haven't seen. I really want to see. I hear it's very good, and it's probably going to be at the top of my want to see section. The original Saw. We don't have all of the Saw sequels in here, which is totally fine. I think Saw 1 is not particularly hard to get through. We talked about the Saw movies in the list of all of these. Saw 1, I don't think it's particularly disturbing. I think it's kind of a good movie. It's like better than it has any right to be. It's better than like where the series went, broadly speaking. It's a pretty tight film. It almost feels like a stage play at parts. I don't think it's particularly grotesque. Conceptually, it's quite difficult, but I don't think it's like that horrible. But I think it's like pretty watchable. I think it's like pretty watchable. It earns its R rating, but it's not like dramatically worse than, American Psycho or like a lot of thrillers, or like, yeah, I don't think it's worse than like Silence of the Lambs or something, in terms of level of violence. This is what is this? Stop motion. I haven't seen stop motion. I don't know anything about it. I guess I'll put it in my haven't seen want to, because it's a pretty good poster. Hereditary is tough. It's a tough movie. In terms of quality, I'm going to probably put it up here. I would argue it's probably rougher than Obsession or Audition. It's kind of like at the top end of rough, not only in terms of quality, but in terms of like how rough it is. Maybe on the low end of brutal, even in terms of like brutality. It's a better movie than Martyrs or Interiors. But great movie. Maybe the best movie that we have on the list so far. Great movie. It's tough. It's a hard watch. It's rough. It's emotionally more difficult than it is like viscerally disgusting. There's like a couple viscerally disgusting sequences, but it's more like emotionally difficult. Toni Collette's performance in this is harrowing. Like her screams in this movie are just absolutely um, chilling, just like chilling, emotionally difficult movie. Um, Great movie. She deserved an Oscar nomination for Hereditary. Toni Collette's unbelievable in this movie. Um, Really, really good movie. Is on the rough side. Fun story. First time I saw Hereditary, I watched it on an airplane. When I'm not going to spoil the movie, but you all know the shot in the middle of the movie after that one car ride uh, really took me by surprise when I was watching this on an airplane. Anyway, Hills Have Eyes. Hills Have Eyes is brutal. Um, in terms of quality, I would also put it above Interiors. It might be above Martyrs. I'm not positive. It is brutal. Um, Very, very violent film, very gross film. Um, I would say trigger warning as well for like sexual assault content in it. It doesn't show much, but it's very strongly implied in a way that like I know other people have reacted very, very poorly to watching this movie. In a way, of course, that's totally legitimate. I didn't find it as disturbing as there's other movies with similar content that I found myself like much more disturbed by than this. I do think it's still kind of a good movie. That particular content is rough and like gross, and obviously, like if you don't want to see that in a movie at all, then like completely avoid Hills Have Eyes. Um, I do think it's kind of a good movie. I think it's a weird movie. I think it's kind of a dumb movie too. I've been writing an essay forever where I talk about it and like Bush era politics because I think it's like, despite being by a French director, it's by like, is he Spanish or is he French? It's Alexander Aja or Aja. AJA is his last name. He also directed a High Tension. Um, Despite that, I think it's like one of the most like intensely Bush era movies. Like it feels like such a, despite like it takes place entirely in America, but it feels so explicitly like about the Bush era in like a very, very like conservative, like reactionary way. I do think it's a good movie though. I think it's like there's this like style of horror movie that's about characters kind of like overcoming their circumstances and having this kind of like triumphant escape almost, and I think it's like one of the best ever in that genre. Very, very, very violent though, and as said, watch out for the essay content, but I do think it's quite good. I do think it's like pretty brutal in terms of level of brutality. I would say it's maybe strafing the line between brutal and rough, high end of rough. It depends if you see the unrated version versus the theatrical version. The theatrical version, I would say, might be more like at the tip top of rough as opposed to the low end of brutal. I think the unrated version is probably in the brutal section. Eden Lake I've never seen. I hear it's kind of good. It's not like a priority for me though, so we'll drop it over there. I don't have anything to say about it. Cannibal Holocaust absolutely is brutal, and I'm going to throw it in the bad section. How do I talk about Cannibal Holocaust? So Cannibal Holocaust, I've seen twice actually. I've maybe seen it 3 times now that I think about it. Cannibal Holocaust is a very interesting film, and I think it is like a very important film historically. I can't remember, was it on the 500 list? It's going to be impossible for me to find it among this whole mess of 500 movies. So anyway, Cannibal Holocaust, for anyone who's not familiar, is like it's either late 70s or early 80s, part of this like wave of so-called like cannibal exploitation films. Really big thing in Italy. It was kind of, okay, how do we do a zombie film but not have to do zombie makeup is basically the play on it. And it's like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll just like shoot some stuff in a jungle and we'll have like scary natives be the villains because they eat people. It's very colonial. It's very Orientalist. It's like really not a great look in general as a whole genre. Cannibal Holocaust became particularly infamous for a few reasons. One, Ruggero Deodato, who directed it, deliberately promoted this idea that it was like way before. This is like 20 years before Blair Witch Project. He was already playing with this like, is it real kind of storytelling, because it is the film involves found footage. It's not found footage start to finish. It's more like the second half is sort of found footage. The first half is about a guy going into the jungle to find a lost expedition. He finds their footage. The second half is basically him watching their footage. And he was playing with this idea, is it found footage or not? There's this urban legend that he got taken to court for murder. I'm pretty sure it is just an urban legend that he promoted and that it's not true. He didn't have to prove in court that he didn't actually murder the actors. But nevertheless, it's like a pretty grotesque film. There's a lot of sexual assault also in this one, so avoid that. The thing that mostly I would say like the essay content in it isn't even really what people talk about when they talk about not wanting to watch this movie. But instead, the kind of horrible thing, aside from like the racism and again like the essay, is real animal deaths. This was like a pretty common thing in these cannibal exploitation films from Italy, is that they killed real animals. They did have some real violence on screen. Cannibal Holocaust kills, I think it's 8 animals total. It's 7 different species, but one of the shots they had to do twice. There's one particularly brutal scene where they kill a giant turtle and like basically rip it apart. And that one is probably the most grotesque because it's the longest and the most brutal and kind of the most like exacting in terms of like the level of violence of what they do to the animal. I actually don't think that's even really the worst one. Like they as memory serves, they decapitate the turtle immediately, which is if you're not a vegan, the idea of them like trying to quickly kill an animal is like, it is what it is or something. Like it's not dissimilar from like what goes on in a slaughterhouse or something. And like the thing with the turtle is that they did actually eat the turtle. Like after they like take it apart, they did actually use it, and like it was consumed by not just the actors but like by like the staff and like people involved with the film, which in some regards I think that like, okay, if you're gonna like kill this animal, like you're at least gonna be like respectful to it in a sense that you're gonna like utilize it in a way that isn't just for the camera. Like it is actually going to be like respected in insofar as that you might respect like like you respect and are like appreciative of like other animals that you eat. There's a bunch of other animals in the film that they do just like kill for the sake of killing though. Like there's 2 monkeys, a snake, a muskrat, a pig. I can't remember what else, but it's like they kill multiple animals, and that's like the main reason not to watch it. I think it's also like a weird and difficult film insofar as that like it tries to make this statement at the end. Like it kind of tries to turn itself around and like justify itself as a film by being like, I guess humans are the real monsters, in a way that I don't think, I think is kind of like lazy and stupid, and I think it's like bad that the film tries to pretend it has some kind of moral core. Anyway, it's a rough one to watch. I would say that like if you can get past the animal stuff and the essay stuff, it is an interesting enough film. I still don't really like it because of, again, like the colonial overtones and the fact that it like tries to uplift itself with this kind of patronizing message. I think is like worsens it as like a kind of like cynical. I think it makes itself kind of like a very cynical product that it like pretends to have a moral core. in a way that like if it didn't attempt to have that, like I've seen other cannibal exploitation films that I think are kind of like that don't attempt to like say anything at all, and I would say that they're almost like I like respect them more for like not pretending to be like not pretending to make some kind of meaningful statement. August Underground. I haven't seen. I don't really want to. August Underground trilogy are a series of faux found footage films that attempt to maybe not dissimilar from the guinea pig films appear to be these like they pretend to be real torture films and I hear that they're just not good and they're like not interesting and they're like kind of boring and like kind of poorly made and they're brutal but they're brutal but they're not necessarily about like celebrating practical effects in the way that guinea pig is, and they also like didn't have some kind of like tangible pop culture effect in the way that guinea pig did. They're just kind of like they have this like underground pseudo cult following, but they don't do anything or say anything. Um, so I'm just gonna say I don't particularly want to see them. I don't think it's impossible that I will watch them at some point, but um, yeah, I don't know. Human Centipede is I think rough and pretty bad. I don't think it is Human Centipede 1 is not brutal. Human Centipede 1 is a gross movie, but it's nowhere near as violent as its reputation might propose. Um, at points, it is borders on feeling like a melodrama comedy or something. The acting is very, very funny. The framing and the lighting and stuff very often looks kind of like a soap opera. Um, the actual, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know the Human Centipede series, it's evil doctor sews people together where he sews one person's mouth to another person's butt, and they have a connected digestive tract, and then he sews another person to the second person's butt. So there's three people in sequence um, with, you know, like one long digestive tract from one person to the next, which is like a really horrifying concept. But that horrifying concept, um, you don't, you don't actually see very much in this movie. You don't see very much. And it is gross conceptually, but a lot of it's in your head. A lot of it's in your head. The other thing is that like he doesn't actually put the Human Centipede together until like it's probably about a 90-minute movie, and I would guess he might only do the surgery like an hour into the movie, maybe a little bit sooner than that. It might be half and half, but it's like it's both visually not that grotesque and also, I mean, like it's bad. Like it's bad in the way that like horror movies are bad. Like it is in the rough category, not the easy category, but it's like its reputation is much worse than what the movie itself actually is. Um, as said, I actually think it's kind of funny in places as well. Um, in particular, there's a sequence at the end when like the police show up to the evil doctor's house, and he's like the like human centipede's down in the basement or whatever, and like he's trying to like hide what's going on from the cops. That whole sequence is just funny. Like that is a like it's not tense, it's not scary. Like it is kind of just a comedy sequence of him bumbling around trying to not attract the cops' attention, and ultimately he does, of course. Anyway, I would say mostly don't watch it if you're curious. It's definitely the most watchable of the trilogy in terms of like level of roughness and like mean spiritedness, and it's a very disgusting movie, and but not nearly as bad as its reputation implies. We've got Human Centipede 2 right here, which we're gonna slap real quick into the brutal bad category. In terms of level of brutality, it's about the worst of any of these. In terms of like actual quality as a movie, uh, I don't know. I think it is the movie that people thought the first one was going to be. It is extremely disgusting. It is extremely violent. Um, it's extremely mean spirited. There's a few really, really, really disgusting sequences in it that, like, I would say don't even read the Wikipedia description, because there's some stuff that, like, it is very much clearly a movie. It's definitely a meta film, and I don't think that, like, necessarily, like, the fact that it is responding to the legacy of Human Centipede 1. Like, it literally is a um it is a meta sequel in the sense that the movie opens with a character in the Human Centipede 2 watching Human Centipede 1 on DVD. And, like, it's about a copycat. It's about, like, a guy who, like, watches Human Centipede as a movie and is like, "Oh, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to make it longer. I'm going to make it 12 people instead of 3 people." Um so it is reflecting on the legacy of the first film, and I think it is Tom Six, the guy who made these movies. It is him being as disgusting as possible and as, like, intentionally repulsive as possible, um like, in response to the legacy of, like, what the first film was perceived to be. It is significantly worse in terms of gore, body fluid stuff. There's a bunch of sexual assault content in it, including, like, a particularly, like a fairly long sequence that is, like, entirely on screen, like, in camera, like, not cutting away, not implied. Like, you witness the whole thing start to finish. Um, it's really like it is like a very gross and mean spirited movie that is also kind of funny in places. I will say, like, Tom Six, I don't necessarily want to say is talented, but you can see he is, like, playing with and, like, joking with things in a way that both of these, like, I wish that they both were more purposefully horror comedies rather than, like, horror movies that just happen to be funny in places. But there are some, like, funny sequences in Human Centipede 2. Like, in particular, probably, like, the funniest joke is that, like, um part of the meta commentary is that an actress from the first Human Centipede movie shows up in the sequel, and she's playing herself. And the joke is that the villain from Human Centipede 2 lures her to be part of the real Human Centipede that he's making. He lures the actress from the first film by pretending to be a casting agent working for Quentin Tarantino. And, like, they literally say Quentin Tarantino, like, so many times on screen, and, like, make jokes about Quentin Tarantino. And it's like, it is funny. I think it actually is genuinely funny. But it is disgusting. It's like it's a rough one. It's like, in terms of grotesqueness, I would say it's probably neck and neck with Cannibal Holocaust as, like, the most grotesque movies on the board right now. So, if not for the fact that Cannibal Holocaust actually has, like, the real animal deaths, I would probably say Human Centipede 2 is worse in terms of, like, grotesqueness. Lots of body fluid stuff. Lots of stuff I don't really even want to, like, mention on YouTube. So we'll just move on. Speaking of which, Serbian film. We're going to throw that and haven't seen. No thanks. A Serbian film is a weird one. I know by reputation. It is perhaps similar to Human Centipede 2, a film that is very much deliberately trying to be as disgusting as possible. And I don't really ever want to watch it. I'm, like, cautiously intrigued. I've read the story description. On paper, it's maybe similarly bad as Human Centipede 2, maybe worse, maybe not as bad. That's like up for people's discussion. I think rather than whereas Human Centipede 2 is like kind of being a weird meta commentary horror comedy, a Serbian film is actually like a better received movie, and there is like some number. A Serbian film has a very small number of defenders who will say that it is like an art house film. It is an art house film that is deliberately as disgusting as possible, in a way that apparently does have some kind of like connection to like Balkan politics. And like, I'm not an expert on the Balkans, I'm not an expert on Yugoslavia. I know that it is like an incredibly complicated thing that you could like spend your whole life studying and still not really have like your head wrapped around it. So I'm not going to comment on it, but apparently like I feel like there's some number of defenders, particularly as I understand it, like Serbian critics are kind of like, this is an art house film that is very Serbian and very much about Serbia, as the title implies. But what I've read from the description of it, it sounds rough. It sounds pretty gross, and I'm not saying it's impossible that I'll never watch it. Same thing for August Underground. It's just like I have too many other movies I want to watch in the meantime. So we're almost an hour in, and we still got a lot to go. How many do we have on the board so far? We've got 11, 13, 17, 23, 25 total. And we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 to go. Let's maybe just do a few more. I'll just grab the ones. Let's grab the ones I haven't seen, and then we can determine how long the rest of this will take approximately. I haven't seen Found. The poster looks bad, so it's probably on the no thanks unless somebody tells me otherwise. I haven't seen Incident at Ghostland. Also don't know anything about it. So we drop that into, unless I hear otherwise. Speak No Evil, I haven't seen. I hear it's good, but we'll throw that over there. When Evil Lurks, I haven't seen, so we'll throw that over here. What are you? Pigeon. I have no idea what that says. I haven't seen it though, so it's an okay looking poster, so I'll put it at the bottom. I want to see it. Saint Maud I haven't seen. I hear some people like it. I'll throw that over here. Goodnight Mommy I haven't seen. Pretty bad poster, so we'll see that under no thanks. Megan is Missing. No thanks, and that's probably a hard no thanks. I hear it's very bad. The Lodge I haven't seen, and I know people who are big defenders of it, so I might float that pretty high actually with Infinity Pool and the Sadness. Green Inferno I have not seen. I think it is the Green Inferno, I believe, is supposed to be a throwback to cannibal exploitation films. I cautiously kind of want to see it, but it's probably going to be bad. Also haven't seen Contracted, but it looks like a nice poster, so we'll through that, and haven't seen Want To. So we actually just have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 to go. Okay, let's just finish this out. We can be efficient. Bring Her Back, incredible film. I really, really, really like Bring Her Back. I think it's a great movie. I actually think it is a great movie. Also amazing performances. Actually maybe Oscar worthy performances. Extremely well written, extremely well done. It's rough. I don't know if I would put it under brutal. There's one particular sequence that everybody knows. The knife sequence is rough. That's a unique thing I've never seen in a horror movie. That's rough, but it's a good movie. It's a really good movie, and it's got some body horror stuff that I would say watch out for if you're particularly bothered by body horror. And there's some nasty gore. Not a ton of it, but there's some. That's why I'm probably putting it under rough. If it maintained its level of gore, but there was just way more of it, it would absolutely be under brutal. But there's only a couple sequences that are really bad in Bring Her Back. But this movie's awesome. Definitely check out Bring Her Back. It's on the level of Obsession. I don't know if it's as good as Hereditary, but it's one of the best horror movies I've seen in recent years. I really liked Bring Her Back. Very scary, very sad. Extremely well performed, very smart movie. Also by YouTubers, I think two French brothers. I don't know if they're brothers, but two French guys did this one. Bring Her Back is awesome. Watch it, please. Ichi the Killer. Ichi the Killer is a classic. It's awesome. I think it's more rough than brutal, personally. I like Ichi the Killer. In terms of like quality, this is like a really strong lineup. This is like a really good line of very good movies. So I'm gonna put it at the bottom. But awesome movie, very fun, very gross. Definitely watch Ichi the Killer. It's really good. This whole line, you should, if you haven't seen these 5 movies, like see all of them. They're really, really good. Also see American Psycho, also see Substance. Like those 5, these 2, and like you can probably skip everything else here so far. Something About the Johnsons, I think is what the full title is. I can't see the text. It's too far away and too tiny. It's short. It's 30 minutes. This is Ari Aster's. This is like his debut short film that originally got him a lot of attention, like right out of film school. So this is, I think, 7 years before Hereditary, maybe 5 years before Hereditary, something like that. It's like a 30-minute short film. I think it's on YouTube or maybe Vimeo. You can find it online. I would say it's either very rough or maybe on the low end of brutal. Sexual assault content again, so I would say if that's a particular point of avoidance for you, I would say it's definitely in the brutal category. That is like what it's primarily about. I guess I would probably say rough. It's also only 30 minutes long, so like that like changes it again. Like what we were talking about with Bring Her Back, where it's like if Bring Her Back had like triple the violence that it has, it would be in the brutal category. It is a feature-length film. It just like doesn't have that many sequences of violence. If this was a feature-length film that maintained its level of intensity or whatever, it would probably be under the brutal, absolutely. And again, if you're particularly sensitive to SA, I would say it is under brutal. It's an okay short. I don't love it. It's interesting. I don't think it's nearly as good as like Hereditary or Midsummer or Ari Aster's other movies in general. But it's a student film, whatever. I Spit on Your Grave. Probably brutal bad. I don't know where to put it in terms of quality. It's a weird one. It's also sexual assault warning again. It's like the example people give of what's like a subgenre people call like a rape revenge film. It's about like a woman hunting down a bunch of men who assaulted her. Some people revile it. There is some amount of like feminist reconciling of it in a way that people appreciate it in some way in spite of its SA content. I don't particularly like it regardless of the content. I would just say it is definitely brutal. It's not as brutal as the rest on this line, I don't think, just because like the total level of violence isn't quite the same. But it's a hard movie to watch. But if you're interested in feminism in film, there's a lot of essays about it. There's a lot to read about this movie, so it's like don't dismiss it intellectually, even though I don't like it. It's not to say that there's like nothing to say about it, which I guess is also why we talked about like Cannibal Holocaust for so long. Mother, we talked about this in the 500 list. I can't really say it's the worst film on this whole thing. But the long and short of it, I don't like it. It's pretty easy to get through, aside from the fact that it's just incredibly, incredibly annoying. And I think that's like the biggest sin that it commits that I talk about a lot. You can go back and watch that episode. They're alphabetical. Is Mother's a really annoying movie. It's a really, really annoying movie. It's not a horror movie. It is disturbing, I guess, in its own way, but it's an annoying movie. It's hard to get through because it's annoying. Um, Last House on the Left, also a bad movie, also pretty rough. Um, Down Pretty Low, also essay content. Be aware. Early Wes Craven. I think it's his first one. I think it's before Hills Have Eyes, the original '70s Hills Have Eyes, not the remake Hills Have Eyes. Really disgusting movie. Pretty hard to watch. Don't have much to say about it. Sinister. I don't think Sinister is honestly that bad. I also don't think it's a very good movie. Um, I don't think it's unwatchable, but it's less annoying than Mother, so we'll bump it to the left. Tusk. Tusk is a rough film in places. It's an okay movie. It's not as good as anything else on this line. Um, Tusk is a Kevin Smith kind of horror comedy, kind of body horror about evil villain, maybe not dissimilar to Human Centipede. Human villain does experimentation, but instead of sewing multiple people into becoming a centipede, he's like surgically altering a man to make him into a walrus. It's a very gross film, very sad movie. It is kind of good. It's not great. I do think it's in the good section, not the bad section. But I would say like I don't know. Like it's an okay later career Kevin Smith. It's gross, but Hostel. We talked about Hostel in my 500 coverage. If we had more levels of not just good and bad, it kind of lands in a weird zone. I'm probably gonna just put it in rough and bad. Probably further left. I think I talked about this in the 500 section, but like Hostel's reputation for brutality is like I think a little bit overstated. I would say this is also true of Human Centipede. I would say this is true of Saw. It is a torture porn film. It does have a couple brutal sequences. There's less total violence in it than its reputation suggests. And I think that the joke I'm sure I made in my top 500 was there are absolutely more there's more minutes of nudity in that movie than there are violence. Like it is more of a porn film than it is a torture porn film. And the torture sequences are gross and they're very, very violent, but there's less of them and they are shorter than I think what its reputation indicates. It is gross though. It is rough. Like it's rough. I don't think it's brutal. But it's also not very good. Poughkeepsie Tapes. Poughkeepsie Tapes, this is another kind of early 2000s, I think, got evaluated as being better than it actually is because of the time when it came out. It's not a great movie. It's on its way to being good. It's somewhere between easy and rough. But it's not particularly good. I'll probably put it in rough. It's probably better than Bone Tomahawk and Human Centipede. It might even be better than Hostel. It's got a couple really good sequences. There's this one famous sequence of that like was passed around as a GIF on the internet for a while, where it's like that GIF was like more famous and more popular than the movie ever was, which is like found footage of a guy. He's like all tied up and he's gagged and he's like facing the camera. And he's like to the right of the frame, and he is like, I'm trying to describe it. Like he like can't look around, he can't look behind him. He's like being recorded, and like creepy guy behind him kind of walks on all fours towards him and has like a plague doctor mask, and then he like tips his head up and you realize like, oh, the plague doctor mask was actually on top of his head, not on his face. So it's like this weird reveal of like, oh yeah, you weren't looking at his face, like here's his actual face, which is like it's hard to describe. Let me see if I can actually just find the GIF real quick. Poughkeepsie Tapes GIF. Maybe I won't find it. I'm surprised it's... Oh, there we go. Maybe. Here we go. Creepy guy walking on all fours. You see the mask. Oh, well, we don't get to the end of the GIF. Well, he stands up, and that mask is on top of his head, and there's something weird about him tipping his head up, and you realize that, like, you weren't looking at his face, you were looking at the top of his head, that oh, here we go. Maybe? Nah. Anyway, it's a creepy GIF. It's, there's some cool visuals in this movie. It's just, like, not, like, a particularly great movie. Lastly, Midsommar. Midsommar is a very good movie. I think it's probably rough more than brutal. It's almost easy. It's rough mostly because of emotional content rather than, like, viscerally. It's, like, not a particularly violent film aside from, like, one or two things. Like, it has less violent. I would say it has less physical violence in it than, like, Bring Her Back does, or Hereditary for that matter. It is a very good movie though. This whole line, aside from Johnson's and Tusk, is like these six: Hereditary, Obsession, Bring Her Back, Midsommar, Audition, Each of the Killer. It's like an awesome lineup of movies. Definitely check them out if you haven't. Midsommar, I don't think it's actually all that disturbing. Aside from, like, I would say it's more emotionally disturbing than it is like there's a couple, like, punctuated sequences of violence, but I don't think it's actually, like, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's all that bad. Maybe that's just me though. I'm, like, jaded as a horror movie experiencer. But anyway, cool. It's a cool, fun list that Laura Loves Horror put together. So thank you so much for putting that together, Laura. There's a cool... I got to check out some of these movies. These are on the list of some I got to add. If not for the fact that I don't like using Tier List Maker, or, like, it's, like, hard for me to use Tier List Maker because I'm not good at it. But, like, I would add some more to this if I could. Like, we could add Frontiers. We could add... let's see. Let's just take a peek at the 500 and see if anything leaps out at us in terms of, like, disturbing ones. I mean, yeah, we could probably add Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We could probably add Barbarian. We could probably add The Fly. Those are all, like, I would say, disturbing movies in their own ways. Annihilation, maybe. I mean, I think Misery is, like, more disturbing than a lot of the stuff in that, but again, that's, like, more emotionally disturbing than it is, like, viscerally disturbing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's some good ones that we could throw around if we wanted to. Anyway, oh yeah, I did see Autopsy of Jane Doe. Did we talk about that? I feel like I altered this, and this was okay. Starts out very strong, goes on to be not so good. Anyway, okay, that's that, everybody. We spent over an hour on that, so sorry if that's what you were, I'm going to start up Resident Evil 4 and see if we can... We'll see if we can finish Separate Ways today. I think I have 2 chapters to go, but if it follows how... If it follows how Separate Ways worked in RE4 original, the final chapter might be, like, quite short. We'll see. Exciting news also, like, since last we played this. Oh, it's validating. 1 second, everybody. It's going to take a minute for me to get this on screen. Since last we played this, Resident Evil Veronica has been announced, which I'm really surprised by. Like, I'm absolutely, like, eating my hat on this, because I was for a time the guy who was saying, like, I didn't think we were going to get a Veronica remake. Like, I was on team Dusk Golem is wrong, RE5 is next, and that, like, RE4 remake content was, like, pointing towards that. That was, like, my opinion on the matter. We discussed in a handful of videos. I'm just wrong. Yeah, no, Dusk Golem was right. He has like a 50-50 track record maybe in terms of like accuracy of some of his predictions, but or his leaks. But no, he was right. Veronica's next. I'm really excited about it. That is an RE game that I've never played before. So I am eager to experience it in modern terms because I feel like there's some Resident Evil diehards who love Code Veronica, but like there's a lot about it that has always been kind of unappealing to me. And there's like specifically, Veronica has this reputation as being like the game that you can very, very easily soft lock yourself in. And that always kind of like scared me, like even knowing that there's means by which you can try to mitigate it. It always held me off from playing it. And I've wanted to play it because I do feel like it is an important part of the Resident Evil saga, but yeah, I'm excited that we're getting it. It's going to be by the RE2 remake, RE4 remake team. I think it's slated for next year. I'm not positive, but I think it's slated for next year. And allegedly, Capcom has their production timeline such that we're going to be getting, if we can trust the rest of Dusk Golem's predictions, we're allegedly going to be getting a Resident Evil game every single year through like 2030, something like that, I think. I think it's going to be Veronica. The rumor, at least, is Veronica. I think it was Veronica 0, 1, and then 10, or Veronica 1, 0, 10, or maybe Veronica 0, 10, 1, something like that. Sorry for the delay, by the way. It was compiling Vulkan shaders, which I don't fully know what that means, but I'm going to change my pipe wire to Resident Evil 4. Here we go. Okie dokie. Let's see. And I sip my Coca-Cola Zero. And the screen is still black, and I don't know why. What can I do about this? There we go. Okay. We're back in. Why did I get... Oh, I guess technically I haven't been back in since we last played Separate Ways. Okay. Separate Ways. So that was chapter 5. So we're on to chapter 6. A bad guy Krauser just stole the ambers. Ada chases. The man who just killed Luis, she runs into Leon once again. Determined to finish their missions, the two make their way. I missed the rest of that. Sorry, everyone. Oh yeah, Leon's got his sunglasses on, even now that the sun is set.
You look like you've got something to say.
I have something to ask you. But I don't think I'll get a straight answer. Raccoon City. You know, after the incident, the world changed. Try to save one person, 100 others die. I guess I changed too.
You? Leon S. Kennedy. You haven't changed. You just think you have.
So here's my question. Have you changed, Ada? Or are you just trying to use me again?
What do you think? We're here. Don't think too hard, handsome. See you later.
Okay, now, I haven't played this game in a few months, so...
Story of my life.
We'll see how well this goes. Okay.
Whose blood are you here for this time? Mine or Sadler's?
That all depends on you. Change of plans. Of course, you're free to refuse.
Think that gun's gonna be enough?
Interesting.
Okay. I'll do it. But cost you extra.
Sorry, that was my arm squeaking on the
Decision.
couch.
I'll send you the new coordinates. And remember, I do not like...
Waiting, I know. I've got a ways to go.
We've got separate ways to go. So as a reminder for anyone who is either joining us during this stream or otherwise, okay, we got a we're gonna have a pretty big area, big play area. I have never played or watched Separate Ways. So we're gonna see how this goes. Okay, and it's been a few months since I played RE4 Remake at all, so we'll see how well this goes. I've played RE9, of course, since this came out. I don't know how well specifically that'll translate to this, because I'm gonna, like, you know, you can't sharpen your knife in this. Let me reload everything real quick. And I also don't know, is that the way forward? Again, this is all new to me, so pardon while I indecisively figure out what to do. And I can... What's crouch again? Is there a crouch? V? No. 1 second, everyone. Options. Is there a crouch? Controls. Key bindings. Melee's F, yes. Zoom in and out is Alt. Good to know. Remote mine's G. Run. Crouch is E. I forgot about that. Quick turn is Q. Okay. Cool. And these are just lootables, I presume. Yeah, I'm really excited that Veronica is going to be happening, because, like, it's such an important part of the RE saga, and, like, has kind of gotten forgotten for a whole bunch of reasons. And, like, I know there's RE diehards who are, like, very, very, you know, they love that game for a whole bunch of reasons, but, like, I think it has maybe legitimately been forgotten for just as many good reasons. And, like, I've never watched a full playthrough of it, which is also one of the reasons I want to play the remake. But what I have watched and what I have heard of that game has always struck me as, like, oh, it's struck me as, like, it is a kind of a culmination of that era of design theory. Is there anything in here? That appears to be the way forward, so before we go, we'll explore up here. It feels like that's the culmination of... Oh, no, that is just up here. Okay. Separate ways. It feels like that's the culmination of that era of design theory in terms of like, you know, static cameras and tank controls, and like it is very much an extension of the theory of how Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 were designed. Crystal ore. Okay. Did he lose sight of me? A little bit. It's like the culmination of that gameplay design philosophy while also being like worse than its predecessors. Like, or it's like, I shouldn't say culmination, because that like indicates that it's almost like resolved in some way. Hello. Are there more guys up? Did they run all this way? I don't know. It is the end point chronologically of that era of game design, but it is not actually like the culmination of like lessons learned from game design. Like it is another game in the sequence, but worse. And that's a huge problem. You know, like kind of a problem for its legacy, and like so many people who were so critical of. Let's do a little crafting. How much do I have? I have no shotgun ammo really, so let's make some shotgun ammo. I don't know if I want blast arrows really. I could make, how many do I have? How many flash grenades do I have? I have just one right now. We'll make another. I could make a blast arrow, but I don't think I actually want to. Gunpowder, cool. It, like, as of the early 2000s, I think fans have kind of like blocked this out in terms of like people. Nope. Hello. I think fans have like kind of blocked this part of like the legacy of the franchise out. That should have been a headshot, but okay. Unless does he have a helmet or something? It's him down. Oh, there's a merchant over there. 1 second, let's just survey the field. Don't see any other guys, so down we go. I think a lot of contemporary fans who maybe weren't so active or don't have very good memories or something.
But getting through won't be easy.
Yep. Either don't remember or don't know that like the RE franchise in the early 2000s had kind of like leading up to Resident Evil 4 had like kind of developed a bad reputation. And I feel like a lot of people were like expressing that they were pretty like tired of the franchise, pretty done with the franchise. Yeah.
Nice work.
Bugbuster,
I've
nice.
got something new for you.
What do we have that's new?
Why not try your hand at a new gun, stranger?
Melee hit critical. Recipe for heavy grenades. I don't know if I even really want that. Brass pocket watch, yes. Depraved idol, yes. Crystal ore, yes. Velvet blue, yes. Yes. Oh wait, no, I want to hold on to these just in case. Rubies in this game are not the sellables like they were in the original. I now have 160,000, dang. Knife, we repair. I don't know if I care that much about power. Like, we're using it for stealth takedowns more than anything, so... pistol max damage we should do. Capacity... rate of fire I'm not too worried about on this thing. TMP max damage is maxed. That's fine. Capacity go up a little. Sorry, 1 second. I'm gonna mute because music.
There you are, as you wished. Knife needs care every once in a while. Could be the difference between life and death. Try that on for size.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna hope that... Sorry, so somebody's driving by with like really loud music, and I just hope that it doesn't get picked up by the mic, because they don't seem to be moving anytime soon, so I'm just gonna like... Okay, that's getting louder, so maybe they're moving now. 1 sec.
It's a thing of beauty, isn't it? Got a selection of good things on sale, stranger. Your valuables.
Okay, I think we're good.
Good in the comeback.
Okay, and was there a... Is there a save point? No, it's just a guy. Also, I missed a treasure. Let me back up there. I don't want to miss a treasure. RE fans, I think, have kind of like ignored the early 2000s era and are like quick to be like, oh, Resident Evil 4 didn't save the franchise. Everybody obviously like always loved Resident Evil, and it's like people really were getting tired of the franchise. And I think it's like weird to try to like lie about that and be like, I think it's weird to try to lie and act like people weren't getting tired of the franchise. Because they definitely were. Ow. I completely screwed that up. I don't want to use a heavy grenade right now. What I want to do is... Now it's time for a grenade. Well, this isn't good. Nope, that's one of the... Oh, and that's another parasite. Or I thought it was. Where am I hearing the warthog? Oh, there you are. Hello. Ow. Rude. Took more damage there than I should have. It's okay though. I'm still fresh. Anyway, yeah, the RE franchise in the early 2000s, people were getting tired of it. People were getting really critical of like how repetitious the games were, and this feeling that like the games weren't getting better, there were just more of them. Dead aim, and there is a treasure in this area. Dead aim and like the Outbreak games. The Outbreak games were not like enormously well received when they came out, and this is like a weird thing that fans also don't like hearing, but like I don't know, like you go back to like forums from that era and like overwhelmingly people like spoke negatively about those games. There was this feeling that between Code Veronica and the Outbreak games and Dead Aim, that like the franchise had kind of like plateaued or like even maybe reached a period of decline because like world design, mission design, and everything what like decayed.
Grab a medicine just in time.
Can you stand?
Where's Luis?
He was worried about you. Till the end. Come on. We don't have much time. Let's get rid of these things.
For Luis.
Ada, come in. There's a lab where we can remove the parasites. Had a crazy hunch that you'd know where it is.
Their most important facilities are housed in their sanctuary at the top of the mountain. That's where I live.
Huh. Ada the encyclopedia.
Happy to help. Now you owe me. Don't die on me now.
Facility loft. I presume this is locked. Yeah.
It won't open.
Oh, another merchant already.
Hello, stranger.
Boss time?
Welcome. What can I interest you in?
We got to be getting to a point where I'm just gonna have to like sell all those.
Valuable. Next time, buy something, eh?
Where do I want to save? There we go. Okay, so I can get back up there, no problem. But why I can't? There's no reason for me to want to. I hear ornate beetles are all the rage right now. They seem to look best when flaunted as a pair. Do you think you can hunt down a couple for me? I hear one is hidden in the dissection in Facility 1, and someone stole the other. Finding them should be an easy job for someone like you, right? Sell 2 ornate beetles inside Facility 1. 10 spinels. Okay. Got a material lift over here. And we're looking for 2 power conductors.
I need to open this to get to the comms facility. It needs some power, though.
Researcher scrawled note. Okay, can't rush. Gotta get the facts down. First, the test subjects are loose in the facility. Second, the only way out is shut. The high voltage power unit is missing, and the exit won't open without one. The freezer, there's a power unit in there. It's an emergency power supply for when one of the test subjects escapes. It should do the job. Problem is, how do I get there with those things running wild? Need to think. Can't give up. Got a family. I can make it. I can do this. I have to. For them.
I could use this.
Tough luck, buddy. Okay. Now, I'm already remembering how long these chapters are. Which is making me think I might not be able to finish the game today. We might just do Chapter 6 and leave Chapter 7 for a separate episode. So we can climb back up. Okay, so I see a guy. I see a crouching guy. I should use up some... Well, actually, I have a pretty good spread of ammo. Hello. Oh, nice. No regenerators around still? Because I do have a thermal scope, which is making me wonder if I'm going to face some regenerators as Ada. I hope not, because, like, as we talked about in my, analysis, regenerators, I've created new life. I call it the regenerador. Its metabolic capacity is incredible. Unless all the parasites residing in the organism are destroyed, its tissues can regenerate indefinitely. Upon examining the body with a biosensor scope, I was able to confirm the parasites behave like vital organs in the host, almost as though it has multiple hearts. New creation of mine is surely essentially immortal. Surely even Dr. Frankenstein himself would want to shake my hand in admiration. Surely news of my achievement with the pretentious bastard colleague of mine. His face went white. Then he started scribbling something in his notebook. I thought he'd be impressed, but instead he actually had the nerve to warn me about so-called dangers. He's a fool. I have everything under control. Date. The subject went wild and escaped from its cryogenic tank. I was the real fool. Yeah. Yeah, I had a feeling. We have a thermal scope. We're going through the freezer. We're going to have to do some regenerators as Ada, which I'm not crazy about, because, like, yeah, I brought this up during my regular playthrough, but, like, one of my criticisms with... I missed a treasure upstairs? Just so I don't miss it. One sec. One of my criticisms with the main game, although I do overall love this game... Oh, no, it's not here, evidently. Can I... So it's in the middle? How's it in the middle? I'm on the top. This is the middle. This is the bottom. How is it in the middle? Well... maybe we'll get up there at some point. One of my only real issues with the main game is I really dislike how they rebalanced the regenerators. I thought they were both less fun to fight, and there are also more of them, and I like understand the necessity of needing to make changes. Just listening for them. I understand the necessity of needing to make changes because, like, this version of the game is so much higher speed that, like, we need, like, changes to be made. Like, I don't disagree with that in essence. My concern... Well, my issue is that, yeah, this stab. Making them faster isn't necessarily more fun or more interesting. It's harder, but it's also, like, annoying. No drop? Rude. Or did it drop something through the floor? Dropped something through the floor. Yeah, I don't like how they changed the regenerators. I said I think that they're harder but not more fun. In a way that I think is... I get it. Like, I get what they're trying to do. I presumably... Yeah, I have to turn the power off to fit my way through there.
I can get through.
Same thing with that. I get it. It's just like... I don't know. Like, I think there's ways they could have done it where, like the knights, maybe? Like, the knights, I think, work fine in the context that, like... Do I hear another one? It's hard with the ambient audio with my windows open. I can't exactly tell if I'm hearing one or not. It's gotta be one. Yep. Ornate beetle. So we got one. And I don't want to like harp on it too long. It's not like that big a deal in the grand scheme of things. It's, you know, relatively small part of the game, but it's like it's like this game is so close to perfection, I feel like, that those issues are like a little bit more pronounced. We're gonna definitely have one or multiple come alive, huh? Let's see one currently. Inside the bags, at least. Ooh, nice animation. We turn off the freezer, which means they come alive, I presume.
That was bound to happen.
Any treasure? Handgun ammo's okay. I presume something's going to come alive and chase me and force me to go through. So we're going to left, right, through, right. Something's going bad. Oh, you're bad. Stop it. Oh, you're one of those things. That's not what I thought was gonna happen. That's not too bad. That's like a normal problem. I presumed we were going to face like some kind of mega regenerator or something. Do I want to heal? I maybe should. Let's just use one. Oh, that tops us off. That's fine. Okay, so we got a treasure midway through. Rifle ammo's good to have, but maybe means regenerator coming up. Well, I'm getting a little all kinds. Anything in the fridge? Gunpowder, thank you. Black bass, nice. Treasure. Yeah, when this game is so close to perfection, though, all of those little things stand out just a little bit more. Okay, so this does get inlay. We can do red, red, red. Oh. Ow. Stabba. Grip. 1, 2. Nope. Flop. Stab. See, the amount of flopping they do was like a really cool gimmick in the original game. If you destroy one of their feet, they'll flop on the floor. In this game, they just do it like all the time, and it's like they're so proud that they like had this cool animation that they like forced it into the game.
Fred. Another one.
Oh. Stabba. There goes one knife. This guy's got a lot. My concept that there might be a mega... a mega regenerator is proving kind of true, huh? Ow! Stop it. Ranged attacks. Stab up. Can I do the thing? No, maybe not. Ow. 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 I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep switching weapons, but it keeps happening. Jerk. You better not regenerate in between. Okay, I have two shots. And I miss. And I quick turned when I didn't mean to. Maybe I should just die to it so I can retry. Yeah, okay. When do I reload? Please be, like, in the kitchen. I wasted so many shots on him. I think this is good. Nope. Ow, 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 ow. I thought you were dead. Okay. Well, in the grand scheme of things, not the worst. I have 2 to kill in here. A regular one and then a Iron Maiden. Drops are different, though. I would appreciate. Okay. Come at me. Get the links. We don't put the treasure in until we've beaten the area. One. Nope. Nope, no, don't. Rude. Stop, man. This is why I find these things annoying. No, come on, man. Do I want to restart this section again? There we go. So this is something that I did learn, which is that the knife is apparently like a way you can get the plagas. Like, you don't need to use the rifle, even though the rifle's like hypothetically like the intended way you're supposed to do it. Like, you can trying to get out. The ranged attacks are really gonna get tiresome. Stop it. I haven't destroyed one of its organs yet. There's a few. Stop it. Another organ destroyed. I missed. I missed. I keep getting hit by these stupid ranged attacks. Stab. One organ destroyed. Did that destroy any organs at least? Another one. Stab. Okay, we just go in for the... I'm just gonna die to this thing. Don't like that at all. Yeah, I feel justified in the rant that I went on. That these things are actually just kind of like not only worse design than what they were in the original game. I think that they're kind of like perfectly tuned. They're too fast and too unpredictable in this one, and I don't know why the thing had like 20 parasites in it. Like, I mean, obviously it didn't have 20, but you know, like it had like 8 or 9 or something. It's like, that's not better. That's not better design. I'm not like impressed by that. Was it here? Is that the treasure? Yes. Where? Red herb is good. Treasure is to my left somewhere. Where? Oh. Unlock drawer. Gold ingot, nice. And this is the back side of the nice classic. See, now that's good design. That's classic Resident Evil design. We wrap around. Back to the merchant.
Welcome. What
But,
can I
you know, I didn't get the other beetle. Did I miss? I have not yet, so I presume
welcome?
that it's coming later. Let me do links. Inlay gemstones. We inlay that in here. We inlay that there. We inlay that there.
Welcome.
We sell. Luminato spinning gold ingot. Ornate gold beetle.
Buy almost anything. This is what I'm talking about.
Tune up.
Fine work. Well then, what can I do you for?
Let's get ammo capacity up. Does that get me free ammo in this one, or is that just in the original? I can't remember.
Little bit goes a long way.
Pardon me, everyone. I sneezed. Rate of fire up might be good in case we need to do more. I don't really have any ammo for it, though, so I probably shouldn't spend more on it. This I feel good about.
A well-tuned weapon can make
We're
up
running
for
low
a
on that.
lack of skill.
One capacity is good.
Are you? Our craftsmanship
Guess power I should get.
There you are, as you wished. Got a selection. Good. Thank you. Welcome.
And what do I get with trades again? Is there anything I want? I can get a splendid bangle
How have we
to get rid of.
cured these curiosities? You can't go wrong with that.
That's 2 of these. So, inlay gemstones. What are the rules for gemstone inlaying again? Okay, we can just see real quick. If we do 2, is that double bonus is 1.2 as opposed to that's 1.1. Okay. So we want to do a 1.2 and then we inlay 2 purples.
Oh, go and welcome.
We sell.
What you buying? Hope to see you again.
Okay. We could do more upgrades. I have 36k, but we might save for a minute. Let's actually just do this here. Okay. There's no way this is the last merchant before end of game. I might just use this real quick to top off the health. Okay. Through we go. It'd be nice to get more... Yeah, I don't have any rifle ammo. Hopefully we don't have any more regenerators to face, and that was like my one regenerator section. But we'll see. Head for the comms facility. Okie doke. Where are we now? No. Shouldn't have used those rifle shots on the distant guys, I guess, now that I think about it. All of that is good. More rifle ammo is amazing. 8 rifle ammo is like a godsend right now. Blast arrows. Are we about to do a boss? This is relatively generous ammo drop. I guess we could face Krauser. That's something you do in
Not exactly covert, but it'll have to do.
Assignment Ada in the original games. You do a mini boss fight against Krauser. Antenna array construction report. The installation of a highly sensitive antenna array on the island is finally complete. With it, the activities of hostile organizations, including those of the United States intelligence services, can be accurately intercepted and monitored. Now we can hear it all. First, we will use this to gather intel and plan for the day of the kidnapping. It will certainly ensure our success. We will show the entire world how that country's security is all bark and no bite. Jack Krauser. Oh, okay, so it's a gondola section. Like, this is something from the original game that they removed from the base game remake. And they're bringing it back for Ada. That's fun. Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of true of, like, the U3 boss fight. Like, I think it is a nice and smart choice that they did that to, like, streamline Leon's campaign while it's still pretty long, breaking chunks into Ada's, and this is another such example. Are we going to have to fight Ganados on the moving gondola? Is the question. Are they going to start jumping over here? Well, I'm getting action music. I see guys. Hello.
Next. Excuse me. Can I see your ticket? Well, this isn't good.
Not nearly as long as the original, but actually, like, pretty nice. Not a bad length. I could have been much more efficient with my ammo use, but we got a lot of handgun ammo that I feel like I'm not using up all that quickly. Cutscene, though? Why
Not my
cutscene?
favorite carnival ride.
Oh, it's just loading screen animation, basically. Okay. Where are we now? Is this gonna be, is this the big battle area? What's in here? Handgun ammo. Okay, that makes up for some of the stuff I just wasted. What are we gonna get? Are we getting a big bombastic battle section like Leon, I guess is the question, which I don't think is like Ada's speed, but... Oh, and we do get another merchant like that quickly, huh? Hello. Tune up. We should repair the tack knife.
Care it deserves.
I guess I could increase the durability just for the sake of it.
Starting to get an idea of your
Capacity. Rate of fire is kind of low, so let's actually bring that up too.
starting to get an idea. Come back anytime.
I'm surprised we didn't get the other beetle. Maybe it's going to be in this section. We'll see. Okay, is this going to be big action sequence? We start with giant disgusting insects are skulking in this area. Another 3 of the foul things, no less. The task is simple: find and exterminate them. Should be a doddle. Defeat 3 novistadors. Get 9 spinals. I guess the beetle must have been in the last area and I just missed it, but we screwed up some things in the main game too, so be it. Let's make sure everything is reloaded.
A radio tower. That's where I need to go.
Okay.
The area is well guarded. I need to be careful.
Okay. Laser. Is that it? So stealth sequence. And this is where the treasure is at. Okay. Ow, ow, ow. We wait for them to cross over again. We wait for this guy to cross over again. Hello. Who threw that? Kobe. Man. Wow. Good job, man. Gonna do another? Hello? Didn't really mean to do that, but fine. Man, my aim isn't the best ever. I was going to say today, but realistically the answer is ever. Is there something I can do in here? Yes. So that destroys one of our, one of those. So I can come back and get the thing later. Can I go up and over that way? No. not a grapple point. Ow. Oops. Oops. Rude. Ow! Wow. What just blew up at my feet? Enough that I need to use that. Yep, somebody's chucking dynamite. Whom? Yeah, I don't know why I keep switching weapons, but I do accidentally. I apologize for that. Who? Oh, you. Hello. Light it up, big boy. I can just shoot it that way, can't I? I couldn't remember if you had to light it for that to work or not. But I think I can go back and get the treasure now. Can I... Before I turn that, let me... I'm gonna run back, get treasure. And it's nice that they provide you, like, a path to get treasure. Oh, maybe? Treasure? Over here, then? Or is it above? Or is it in the trash? Thank you. And let's check for no Vistadors. Hello? I still don't know what I'm doing that's making me switch between weapons. Is that a Novistador? Or is that the merchant? Because I certainly don't want to hit the merchant. Let's run back real quick just to make sure... Oh, didn't mean to do that. We run back real quick. Make sure that's not a Novistador. It's just you? Yes. Okay, up the center we go. Just triple checking. I didn't think there'd be more than one in the center area, especially since we could shut down the comms, but doesn't hurt to check. Okay, up we go. I presume we want to turn this. Did that spawn guys behind me? A little bit. Ow! That didn't seem that close to me. I would say worth it. Okay. Can I go around to get the treasure? Yes, not treasure, but probably ammo. Herb is good. I need those. 2 of them, in fact. Hello. Should be you dead? This is kind of a battle section, but I feel like the pacing of this is maybe like a little bit more interesting to me than some of the Leon battle sections. Like the way that they've segmented this up is kind of neat. That, or maybe I'm just like fresh enough because, you know, when you're playing like the main game on its own, you know, it's easy to get kind of tired. Any doors over here? I don't think so. Any over there? Not that I'm seeing. Just triple checking. That's just a dead body, I presume. Yes, must be. Shouldn't waste more ammo. Okay. Now that is aiming at the bridge, which is bad. We run quick.
Oh, it's just one thing after another today.
Ha ha ha. Very nonchalant spy. One thing after another today, Ada says. Okay, so we can go backwards. Do we have no Vistador over here? Oh, that's not good. Can I make a flash grenade? I can. I equip flash grenade. Yep, there goes my knife. Still, I think that's a pretty clean sequence. I'm happy with how that played out. Okay. But... oh, okay. So we intentionally go backwards now. Then we run up the center. I get it. And we're gonna grapple. We run. We run. Grapple. Exciting action sequence. We climb. We can probably destroy that one from the inside now. Cool. And do we have any Novistadors now? Not that I see. Probably on that mountain face? No? Kind of surprised. This one? I don't know why. Why do you keep changing weapons, Ada? What am I doing? Is it... I don't know what I'm hitting on the controller that's resulting in that. Or not controller, but my mouse. I have a new mouse since I first played this. It's a much nicer mouse. It's a better mouse. Let's just do one more check. That's probably a Novistador. That's 2 of 3. I want to peek around to see if I can at least see the third. That might just be one that goes unresolved, unfortunately. So be it. Unless visible from here. Nope. Okay. So be it.
Need to find the main terminal.
Okay. Loading screen hidden as not a loading screen. Okay. Well, that's not good. None of this is good. So this is the one thing I had spoiled for me about the about Separate Ways, is that the laser hall sequence from the very first Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil film that was also kind of referenced in the first Resident Evil 4, the original that was not part of the remake, was turned into an Ada section. And that's like, you know, it speaks to what must fundamentally be a good sequence in a movie, that, like, as much as people love to hate on Paul W.S. Anderson and his movies, the fact that people inevitably have to be like, oh yeah, that sequence is awesome, and the fact that it's been like recreated in Resident Evil media now like numerous times. Oh. What? Iris. So 1, 4, and 8 or are our common numbers, and presumably we're doing them in order of faintness. Yeah. Cool. I presume we're about to get environmental storytelling about the lasers. The Amber Research Report number 12. Our research into the Amber continues on the island. We are beginning to get a clearer picture, but there's still much we do not know. The Amber is proving its usefulness. Although it is still dormant, it has great influence over other parasites and even strengthens them. I am convinced that this optimizes the relationship between parasite and host. In our experiments, we were able to recreate this in one of our test subjects. This is a great achievement. Next, I want to test its influence over superior species of Plaga. However, only those at the top of the Los Illuminados are hosts to this particular type of parasite, and they would never agree to participate in any experiments. I need to plan carefully if I wish to find any volunteers. Ana Gabriela Escudero, head researcher. Yes,
Something tells
indeed.
me this isn't just a comms facility.
Indeed. I think we got another boss coming. More environmental storytelling. Subject analysis, Martinico. The effects of the amber are greater than anything I could have imagined. Martinico was once a fragile, uncontrollable test subject that was despised for being born deformed. But after numerous experiments, it gained tremendous resilience and regenerative abilities, and now it is impervious to conventional weapons. Now for the bad news. It may be stronger, but its mental capacity has not improved at all. In the unlikely event that it breaks free, there is little we can do to contain it again. Only the powerful lasers can stop it for good. Okay, well, powerful lasers. There we go. So I shouldn't waste ammo on it, is what that note is telling me. Chase sequence time with Martinico. Oh, shit. That's bad.
You don't look happy.
Can I run? Oh. Does it just instantly kill me if it catches me? Yep. Presumably it'll load me right in to the start of the cutscene. And better. It's a much better look at him. What do I do? Can I turn around?
You don't look friendly.
Yes. Okay. Kind of a cute chase sequence, I guess. Let me through, let me through. Almost ran past.
This is where we say goodbye.
Bye-bye. He's about to burst through, I'm sure. Hello, rats. So my back is to a dead end, so I have to go straight forward. So he's right above me. Kind of scary, but not really. I don't think there's anything I can do about that.
I guess my new friend was the result of some experiment.
We just read a note about that, Ada. Is he about to burst out? Have a feeling. Okay, well that's not good. Can I get in yet? No. But it's signaling to me, hey, this laser sequence is actually going to be a utility for you. Probably. Did I hear Ganados shouting? Can't break through that. Can't break through that. I could swear I heard Ganado shouting. Okay, now the question is this actually going to be... Are we... Okay, yeah, so we're going to have to physically... We're going to have to physically time it. Walk through. That middle one is really the problem, or do I have to crouch? Walk through. Okay, is it going to be QTE time? Yes. Simplified QTEs.
Well, that was excessive.
Yeah, not quite the flare that Leon had to deal with. Will we have to run back through backwards, though, to kill Martinico? Okie dokie.
This is it.
After playing Requiem,
Nice.
I really wish I could manually turn my flashlight on and off. Where did you have that?
I'm at the site and jacked into the main terminal. You're going to blow up this entire island, including the president's daughter. Won't that make things harder for you?
There's no room for half measures. The weak exist to serve the strong. Enough talk. Bring me the amber. I've arranged a way for you to get back to the island.
Copy that. On it now. Okay, Luis. What was it that you said again? You should have known by now, Whisker, that I don't always play by your rules. Okay.
Okay. Ammo good. Any interact points in here? Doesn't appear to be. Okay. Out we get. Is Martinico gonna be back? Oh, that's bad. Maybe. Let's see what's in here. The amber, research report number 14. My findings show the amber has the ability to invigorate even the superior species of Plaga. It was wise to choose Krauser as the guinea pig. The others were too suspicious, but Krauser's incessant lust over power was more than enough to convince him to take part in my experiments. The results have been excellent. The growth of the superior species can now easily surpass that of a regular parasite. He is without a doubt one of the most powerful people I've ever seen. The only thing we have to fear now is the power sleeping within the amber. How can I prepare? What should I do if it is awakened? Does not matter. Writing these reports no longer has any meaning. Sadler came to me. The ampule he handed over is still in front of me. I know too much. I realize what will happen if I inject myself with it. Will he kill me if I defy him? Or should I place the gun to my own head and pull the trigger? It's going to be a long night. Yeah, sounds like it. There's treasure in this room? Dead center. Oh, in this little suitcase? Cute. Nice furniture, too. They're very nice chairs. Nice rug, too. I forget. I know I should know the name of these chairs. It's funny to see these, like, recognizable designed elements in the Resident Evil games in the way that, like, I point out in my Requiem review towards the end that, like, in the Umbrella facility at the end of the game, we should also heal. Let's just do one for now. In the Umbrella facility at the end of the game, they have Corbusier couches, which is like totally makes sense to me. It's like totally fine, but like it's also kind of funny to me insofar as that, like, I don't know, like in this fantastical world that is supposed to have a certain kind of verisimilitude, I think it like totally makes sense that you would have like recognizable branded objects, but at the same time, yep, hello. Oh, these are back on.
Only one way through this.
Okay, nice and extra in a way that is more fitting with Leon. But it's one button. Well, two buttons. Sorry, guy. You're about to get waffled. Yep.
Always have an out.
Sweet child, do not resist.
Got you now, Sadler.
All right. So that was a longish chapter. I don't know how long the final chapter is going to be, so I think we are just going to I think we're going to save we're gonna save, and I think we're gonna call it for here. Do one. We'll do one more episode after this to round it out. And it's like, if it turns out to be a short episode, like if the final chapter is only like 30 minutes long, so be it. We can do more tier list stuff. I could play some mercenaries. We could go through some of the menu bonus content stuff, like yeah, concept art or whatever. There's still plenty to unlock. We could just take a look at some of this and, you know, just see how that goes. I don't think there's too much that I need to... I think we looked at a lot of this, actually, at some point. But yeah, I don't know. This is fun. Separate Ways continues for the most part to be very, very good. I love that they're mixing in content that they cut from the main game in a way that for the most part like makes the main game flow a little bit better. But you're not being deprived of the content. They're just like repositioning it into a different location. So we get the lasers back, we get the gondolas back, we got U3 back. Stuff that people had complained about being missing from the base game is now repositioned, so it's still part of the overall experience, but it also makes Separate Ways like more distinct from the base game in a way that you're not just playing remixed content from the base game. You are getting like more original new stuff, which is cool. Yeah, this is pretty amazing. I think Separate Ways is like pretty outstanding, and I doubt we're going to get a Separate Ways for Requiem, but I'm really excited to see what they do for Requiem DLC. Obviously I'm super excited for Veronica as well. We just talked about that, and like Veronica, again, I'm really eager to finally experience that story, because just like, you know, I guess we won't yet know how accurate it's going to be to the original game, but if 2 and 3 are anything to be like referenced back to, I think we can assume that it's going to be like relatively accurate. And like, I know people will like complain about 3 being like a bad remake, but it's like, complain as you will, reasonably so, about cut content in terms of like gameplay and like level design and whatever. Like for the most part, it recreates like it recreates the story beats certainly of the original game accurately, even if it doesn't like recreate the actual like intended gameplay experience or like sequence of events or totality of content. But I'm excited for Veronica, and it is, as said, the like Capcom has multiple teams who concurrently work on Resident Evil games, and RE2 Remake, RE2 Remake, RE2 Remake, RE4 Remake were the same team, and they'll also be doing Veronica. Requiem was the RE7 team, and I don't remember what else they did. It might be RE7 Village. Yeah, they might have just done 789. Like that might be their, or aka Biohazard Village Requiem. Like they might have just been like the forward progress team. Certainly Requiem had the same director, Koshi Nakanishi, as who directed 7, who is not the same director as the director of Village, but those might be all the same team. I don't remember how 3 Remake fits into this. I'm pretty sure 3 Remake was like a B team, which is, you know, kind of illustrates or like explains in a certain sense why it decayed in quality. Also, like I think there's some reasonable evidence that like the 3 Remake, 3 Remake, as I understand it at least, was maybe at one point slated to be RE2 Remake DLC, and then they like spun it into its own game. I don't know how true that is. Maybe that's just fan cope. Like maybe that's like fanon that somebody came up with because they wanted to like, they would rather envision that than deal with the like reality of the fact that like, okay, like Capcom just put out a game that is like not a particularly good remake, like whether or not you want to like say it's a good game on its own, though I still stand by the thing that I've brought up multiple times, which is I think people rag on that game too much, and in particular like the degree to which people get hyperbolic about how short the game is. It's like there's so many people who I've seen are like, oh yeah, that game is like a 2.5 3 hour game, and it's like it super isn't, and you can like see through like basic like there is data science that points to the fact that like the average person who played that game completing the story one time took most people like 6 or 7 hours, which is like still like pretty short, like even for an RE game. But like people insisting that it's like, oh, it's a 3 hour game, it's like no, it just straight up isn't. Like the in-game clock I think ends up reading, like for a lot of people would end up reading like 5 hours, but like it only ends up reading 5 hours because like the in-game clock stops anytime you're doing inventory management. Any of the cutscenes also don't contribute to that, but also anytime your radio is playing, so you can like actively be like walking around the world interacting with objects and stuff, but like if your radio is playing audio, it pauses the clock, because that's like the game treats it like, as the game clock considers it to be a cutscene, because it's like an obligate volume of time that like has to be like you have to like proceed through before like before anything happens. So anyway, all of this is like a weird aside about RE3, which is like a game that like I don't love enough to like particularly be the defender of, but at the same time I feel like gets a lot of unfair flack. But anyway, we're gonna have one more episode of this, and then we should be completely done with RE4 Remake. And obviously there's like a bunch of games that I've like started now that I need to get back into and like actually play and finish myself. Like again, Liza P, we've gotten started, we've gotten Silent Hill started. We'll see what we do, but I'm trying to get back into the rhythm of streaming, and I'm going to try to do I'm going to see how possible it is for me to integrate a couple evenings and maybe try to like even out some I don't know. I'm going to try to figure out some schedule, and maybe it'll be that I like try to stream Wednesdays, Fridays, Sundays, something like that. We'll see what's possible, but this was fun. Separate Ways continues to be great. I hope the audio for my windows being open isn't the worst, but it's like really, really hot, and my apartment is only gets hotter if I have the windows closed. So this is the option available to me on a fairly nice day. Yeah, that's it for now. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time. I'm gonna quit the game. I have to go back to OBS. I'm still shaking the rust off of streaming. Okie doke. Alright, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you around next time.